Hello, this is going to be a bit of a different video and kind of a random video, but after posting the Cabinscape video last week, I wanted to share a little bit more information about what I had mentioned at the beginning about feeling the effects of the seasonal depression or seasonal affective disorder in hopes that, I don't know, somebody can relate. Or maybe I can give you some tips or suggestions to help overcome them just based on what I did myself to allow myself to feel better. So I'll just kind of talk about what I was feeling. Usually around this time of year, January, I start to feel really down, as I think a lot of us do. It's been a long winter. The days are short. It's cold outside, and it's just hard to get outside to go for a walk. You're not getting as much vitamin D. So that is a big factor. And I think we're just kind of over it. We're over winter. We want to get into spring. We want to get into summer. So I feel that as well come January, mid January, end of January. So I was already kind of headed in that direction. I hadn't been walking a lot um, as I typically do. Since Wesley was born, I pretty much go for a walk every single day with him. It was just something easy to do and got us outside, got myself some exercise. But I have noticed I haven't been walking as much since I've had Hudson. And I think it's because it's just a little bit more challenging now with both of them at very different levels of ability. So just getting Wesley bundled and dressed to get outside, plus Hudson, who is always fighting me, the two combined and just trying to arrange their schedules. Like if I get Hudson dressed first, he's going to take off. He's a flight risk, and it takes me too long to get Wesley dressed. So then I need to get Wesley dressed first, and then he's overheating. Need to load him outside while I chase Hudson around to get him dressed. It's just the emotional bandwidth that it requires me to have to get the kids outside was just too much, and I didn't have that. And so what I did instead was not go outside. And so I really was feeling the effects of not getting outside, not going for a walk, not really getting any form of exercise, paired with just feeling as though I'm not meeting everybody's expectations of me. Not that everyone's necessarily placing a lot of expectations on me, but it's the expectations I have of myself for other people. So, for the kids, for Jim, for my friends, my family, the people online that I should be creating content for, with my business, Paddle Like a Girl, and just so many layers of expectations that I felt like were being placed on me, and feeling as though I'm not meeting any of them to the standards that I would like to meet them. And then just kind of that imposter syndrome. I feel that severely. A lot of the time. And I think it came to a head right after the Hamilton Adventure Expo. I had a great time while I was there. It was a great show. It was very successful, but the imposter syndrome was very real at that time for me. I think what was happening was the day was really busy. I had a lot of people coming up to our booth, a lot of people expressing their gratitude for the videos that we make, and just them commending us for taking the kids on the trips that we take them on and all sorts of things. It was very nice and exciting and a fun day, but I think what happened was afterwards I was feeling like, wow, I have all these people fooled into thinking that A, I know what I'm doing, B, I'm a good mom or whatever it is. I was just feeling the imposter syndrome, and I felt like because I had fooled everybody into thinking these things about me, it means I'm a bad person. And so it was just this really weird mental gymnastics I was doing because again, imposter syndrome is very real for me, and I'm continuing to work on it. So that's when things got really bad for me, was after the Hamilton Adventure Expo. I was really down for a long period of time, just feeling very like, woe is me, what am I doing, what's the purpose in any of this, and feeling a lot of guilt for just not, again, meeting all the expectations that I was putting upon myself. It got bad enough that I brought it up to Jim. I had to mention to Jim that I'm really down. Like I have these down moments at this time of year. It's very common for me. I kind of anticipate it, but this was the worst it's ever been. I brought it up to Jim and we talked about it, and I did a little bit of research. I've never been someone to really take supplements or vitamins or medication or anything like that. I often am trying to find the root to the problem. So like, even if I have a headache, Advil isn't my first line of defense because I feel like that's putting a band-aid on it. So I'm like, okay, maybe I need to drink water. I need to get some more sleep. I have to eat something. I try to figure out what's causing the headache instead of just taking an Advil. So I'm similar when it comes to like taking any pills or supplements or whatever it may be. Now, of course, supplements, natural supplements are different. And so I did some research. I tried to figure out what supplements can I take that can help kind of get me out of this really low that I was in. Because sure, I can start going for walks, but it was physically hard for me to go for walks. Just by the time I was at the point of getting the kids outside, they're dressed and ready, I was on the verge of a mental breakdown because, again, Hudson challenges me on everything I do or try to get him to do. And Wesley, trying to get Wesley bundled and ready to go outside is also a factor for me because it reminds me that, oh yes, I have this child who is very severe needs and isn't able to get himself dressed and isn't able to participate in walks the way that a typical child would be able to. And it's just kind of another reminder for me. And so it's just a compilation of things. And so I knew that just going for walks wasn't going to be enough. And maybe it would have had I been able to go for walks, but I needed something to help even get me to the level of now I can go for walks each day. So anyways, all that to say, I started taking supplements. So I wanted to share with you the supplements that I started taking because now after having taken them for, I started them mid-February or at the end of March. So I've been taking them for 5 or 6 weeks now, and I have noticed a big difference. And so I wanted to share those with you. So start with saffron extract. It's an antioxidant which supports mood and emotional well-being. It was recommended to me at the health food store that I went to when I was going in looking for stuff that can help me with my mood and energy. So saffron extract. It's nice because it's just one pill once a day, super easy. L-tyrosine was something that Jim was already taking. It supports brain function and mental performance, helps with dopamine and norepinephrine production, which improves focus and motivation. I take 2 twice a day. Vitamin D3, of course, that's just kind of a basic one that everybody should be taking, especially in the winter. I am doubling up on the 2,500 units. So I'm taking 5,000 units of vitamin D3. I'll probably go lower once we have longer, sunnier days. I'm taking another one called Ad Reset. So Adrenal Reset. It's a blend of adaptogens and nutrients. Helps regulate cortisol levels and manage stress. And it supports energy levels and reduces fatigue and increases your sleep quality. I take 2 of those once a day. Ashwagandha was one that came highly recommended from the people on the internet. Thank you. I asked for my Instagram followers to give me some suggestions, and ashwagandha was one of the top recommended ones. So I looked into it a little bit further, and I started taking it. It helps reduce stress and anxiety by regulating cortisol. It improves your sleep quality and supports hormonal balance. So this one, I take 2 of them before I go to bed because it does say, shouldn't be operating heavy machinery or driving or things like that. So I just don't want to risk taking them in the morning and then having to drive Hudson to daycare. So I take it before bed. On top of that, I take magnesium. I am taking, it says anywhere from 200 to I think 400 milligrams a day. I'm taking 250. It helps with relaxation and sleep, which I've definitely noticed. I take it right before bed, and it plays a role in energy production and heart health. And I've read separately that it actually reduces anxiety. And I can tell you that I have absolutely noticed a humongous difference in my anxiety levels since taking magnesium. It's night and day. It's actually shocking. I've struggled with anxiety pretty severely, and I've never taken any medication for it. Never really realized that maybe I should be on medication for it, but I have noticed a huge decrease in anxiety. Simple things like responding to an email would cause severe anxiety for me. I would overthink it, and then I would not reply to the email because I was overthinking it. And then I would be weeks behind on replying to a very simple email because of the anxiety that replying caused. So now I'm replying to emails, no problem. Just type, send, and it's life-changing. I'm able to just kind of face challenges that would typically cause severe anxiety for me with little to no anxiety. So magnesium, 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 magnesium. It also helps you sleep, but I take 250 milligrams. I can't say enough good things about magnesium. Again, I suffered from anxiety so intensely It was really bad. I didn't really realize how bad it was until I started sharing with people how bad my anxiety is, and they're like, you should be looking into that. And so magnesium and also iron. Iron is just, a basic supplement that a lot of people take because I don't know if my iron levels are necessarily low, but just in case, I thought it would be good to take some iron because it is proven to help improve cognitive function and energy levels, which I was feeling super low energy levels. So I don't know if it's just one of these that is helping me or a combination of all of them. It's a lot. I invested in a pill organizer because I'm the worst at remembering to take vitamins, but I have been very consistent with taking these vitamins every day, twice a day. So I have some for the morning and some for the evening. On top of that, I'm taking omega-3, vitamin E, zinc, vitamin C, just your regular like health supplements. Of course, I am not a doctor. I'm not a health professional. So, of course, if you are planning to take these, please do your own research or ask your own family doctor. But that's what helped me. So hopefully this will give you kind of a baseline to get started on what you might want to look into. But yeah, so those are my list of supplements. Again, disclaimer, I am not a health professional. Please do your own research and decide what's going to work best for you. The reason why I don't like to take a lot of medications is because I'm really fearful of building a dependency on them. So I don't want to have to take any of these forever, especially if they're going to cause any long-term health issues. Um, I'm hoping that this will just kind of get me out of the ruts. It does say the saffron and the ashwagandha do say to consult a health care professional if you're using them over a certain amount of time. So those are a little bit of red flags to me. So I want to get to a point where I, of course, don't need those. And I think as summer approaches and I'm outside much more often, I think I'll be okay to come off of those things. But right now, they're just kind of supporting me to continue surviving. We're all surviving. Okay, the next thing that I did, I just started making better choices, the harder choices maybe. So for example, I love listening to true crime podcasts or just like silly podcasts, like Reddit story podcasts, things like that. And I just kind of made the conscious decision to choose more motivational and educational podcasts, things that I felt good about or felt that I could learn things from after listening to them. So just little choices like that. I'm trying to reduce my time on social media and also just using it more intentionally instead of just doom scrolling. And I'm choosing to read instead of watch TV or movies. And then, of course, I'm choosing to walk when I have the opportunity. So, for example, at the Cabinscape video, I had the option to take the shuttle. I chose to get there earlier to give myself time to walk because I knew I needed it. So just these little choices here and there that I know are going to be more beneficial to my mental health. Number 3, started walking more. So I have been more consistent with the walks. I've been doing the work to get outside. The thing I struggle with is, while the kids are in school, I'm trying to get as much work done in that short period of time that I can. And so, sure, I could go for a walk when I'm home alone, but then I feel guilty because I'm not getting work done and things like that. So I'm trying to just make the decision to go for a walk, whether it's 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes. Just getting outside and getting a little bit of exercise is so beneficial to my mental health. And then number 4, I found some time to spend with friends and socialize. We all know that socializing and time with friends increases dopamine and serotonin. I was happy that I was able to do that, go to Cabinscape, spend some time, kind of de-stress. It was also something that I was considering canceling, to be honest, because I was so low that I wasn't really in the mood to socialize. But on the flip side, I'm also terrified of letting people down. So I didn't cancel. And I'm glad I didn't cancel in the end because it was a much needed weekend away and, de-stressor time for me, which was great. And then last but not least, I've just given myself some grace. That meaning just, I don't want to say lowering my expectations, but being aware that I am doing the best that I can given the circumstances in this moment. So, for example, I used to work out every day or 5 days a week and I loved working out. I still do, but I haven't worked out in months. And so when I see that other people are working out or whatever, I'm like, oh geez, I should be doing that. I haven't done that in forever, but then I remind myself it's okay. You're taking the steps you need to get back to a point where you feel good enough to be working out. And I will get there eventually, but I'm just taking it day to day and just kind of allowing myself to do the things I need to do right now to get to a better place mentally. You know, my main priorities are, of course, the kids and our family. And so all these other things can come later. I just want to feel like I'm being a good, patient, fun mom to be around, which I had no patience and I was angry and frustrated all the time. And so my number one priority right now is just making sure that I can be, a happy mom to Wesley and Hudson. And I feel much better about that now because I do have the patience now and I am taking the time to just spend with them and be with them and be fun instead of, you know, wound up and stressed out. So anyways, I hope that this was an insightful video. I mean, again, I'm certainly not a healthcare professional or a psychologist or any type of therapist, but I just wanted to share what I did and what I'm doing to try to combat this very long, snowy winter. I felt like it was very fitting to post this today because after a couple of warm weeks and getting outside and feeling good, like spring is here, it's summer's on the way, and then a literal snow day yesterday and snow in the forecast pretty much every day for the rest of the week. It's just kind of we need to remember that it's just kind of maybe fitting right now because the emotional roller coaster of is winter over? Is it not? Is a little much at times. But, anyways, I hope this is helpful to at least one person. If it is, then that is all that matters. Thank you for listening to me talk.